All right, everybody. Well, welcome to the final cast. That's right. We are on every other week on Monday at 7 p.m. So thank you for joining us. We are looking forward to having our guest on tonight from the Southeast Georgia KBF. And I'm going to say that again several times so I remember that over and over and over again. But yeah, we're going to have Daniel on, also one of our hosts from the Paddle and Fin Network. So sit back, relax, grab a drink, and enjoy the final cast. All right. Welcome, Daniel. How you doing, brother?
Doing well, Randy.
Man, you are a busy individual, not only because you're getting like wrapped up full tilt into this fishing industry, but you've also got an amazing job, an awesome wife that supports you along the way here, and you are insanely busy. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself before we jump into your group there.
Yeah, man. I am from the Savannah, Georgia area down here in Southeast Georgia. I work full time as a law enforcement official. Been in it going on, 26 years, man.
Ooh, nice.
26 years and still pumping out some years in me. I think I'll probably end up with close to 41, 42 before I retire.
Oh, my goodness. So what, you're at 26 and you're looking at 41, 42?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think my kids are all going to be graduated out of school and moving on with life at that point.
Unless something special happens with the fishing industry itself and somebody wants to come off some money.
And I think we're all waiting for that one, right?
Right. It's good. I'm just here. I'm pumping out content. Golly, man. It's a full-time job doing that as well.
I tell you right now, I don't think Daniel actually kind of really understood the level of like when we said you pump out content and pump it out as much as possible that you want. He didn't realize what he kind of opened the door on when he jumped in with us. Yeah, but he's been a great addition to the show. We've to the network. We're very happy having Daniel on with us. If you wanted to go and find out any of his other shows that he has going on, you can go to the Main Contain Fishing podcast.
Yeah.
That's on the network. You do that one on Wednesday nights now?
Wednesday nights. So he's got a very unique format. Some of them are live. Some of them are pre-recorded. Got some other things coming down the pipe. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But first off, we want to welcome everybody. We have 5 people kind of watching. I know that there's more kind of watching in the wind on YouTube and other places like that. So give us a shout out. Let us know. Drop a comment down there. Let us know where you're watching from. I know there's going to be a lot of Southeast Georgia watching today, hopefully, kind of seeing what's going on. But we are excited to talk about the SEGKBF, or the Southeast Georgia KBF, and tell us a little bit about your club and your organization and how it kind of got started. So it's kind of weird how it got started. I used to be in the bass boat world and gave up the bass boat world. Just kind of sat around, was looking at YouTube, and as YouTubers, you kind of just search and say, hey, what's out there to fish other than boating, right? And so I typed in kayak fishing, and all this stuff popped up. Greg Blanchard, Chad Hoover. So I knew Chad was from the Savannah area. He grown up down here, and so I kind of reached out to him and said, hey, when you got a minute to talk, can you talk with me? And so we ended up exchanging phone numbers and kind of just getting down, knowing each other, and then I got into the world of how do you go about starting a kind of grassroots club, just to kind of get a handful of guys together, fish these small areas down here in South Georgia, rivers, little community lakes, and just kind of build a relationship with folks that's already doing it, but I didn't have no interest in it begin with.
Right, because you're coming from the boating world.
Yeah. And so I ended up buying my first kayak, of course, a Lifetime from Walmart. Pretty much like I guess everybody would do, just to kind of get their feet wet into it. And I got my feet wet real quick.
Like literally, did you get your feet wet and fall in, or?
No, I only fell out of that boat one time, and that was a mistake. me putting on an incline on a little back pond, and it just flipped over on me near the bank. So,
did you try to ride it into the pond? Is that what you tried to do?
I tried to ride it into the pond.
Yes, I love it.
So that's where it all started at. That's where my kayak adventure kind of grew. Where we're at now is just coming up with something, and then, of course, starting a club.
Yeah.
Now you got to come up with a name for the club, and that's where the Southeast Georgia Kayak Bass Fishing kind of.
Well, that was a pretty simple name to come up with. That was good. You
Yeah,
didn't get crazy on it.
It didn't, throw a bunch of stuff in a hat, shake it up, and okay, first one we pull out, that's the name of the club, right? Because what my I guess, golly, my niche was to keep it in Southeast Georgia.
Right.
Anything from Macon down and from I-75 back to the East Coast, and down to the Florida line, just kind of a square of the state of Georgia, because I knew Peach State Kayak Anglers already had one, and I knew some other, the Georgia, I think KFL or something like that, had already established club within the state.
Mm-hmm.
But, a lot of guys down here didn't want to. When I started let me backtrack a little bit, Randy, is I reached out to a few folks that had kayaks that did saltwater tournaments back in the day with KBF and things like that, and then kind of started reaching out to other folks, pushing the information out. And I had a lot of input come back in. They said, well, we don't want to travel that far. Can we do local stuff, within about, I say 2 or 3 hours of Savannah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's how Southeast Georgia Kayak Bass Fishing came into existence. So it's
So when did it like officially establish? Like, what year did it start? Did it happen during COVID, or did it happen after, or was it before?
It was before COVID.
Okay, good. So you were starting to get your legs and everything underneath you right before it.
Yeah. The first tournaments that we fished a lot of the Georgia public fishing areas that are owned by the state. So we kind of fished them and kind of just rolled from there. And I forgot how many I had for the very first tournament of the year.
I was gonna say, did it start out where like you just said, hey, a group of us is gonna go here and fish, and then a tournament happens, or?
No, actually, I jumped all the feet first, man. I'm telling you, I said, screw this. We're going in deep. We're going into the deep end. We're not going to start shallow and ease our way into the deep end. So I dove deep. I started, I reached out to Dwayne with Tourney X, started a director's account. He kind of showed me how to get everything set up into the tournaments. And so first tournament, man, it's on like Donkey Kong.
And I don't know, do you remember how many do you have at your first one?
I want to say like 20 or 21.
Wow, that's really good for a first one, man.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
All right. So that kind of fed a little bit of the fuel to the fire a little bit there.
Yeah, I think so. I think, you seeing that as a tournament director, you got your first tournament, you got 20, 21 people. Golly, man. What if the word gets out next tournament, I have like 60 or 70, and the place I've already got scheduled on the tournament scene won't hold that many people.
Right. Right.
Then you're like holding hands, fishing. Okay, you fish off that side, I'll fish off this side. So
I've been in some tight situations like that in Florida.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so it started before COVID. So what year did you kind of like really like, instead of like in the brain works and the brainchild, when was the actual first event? What year was that? Do you remember?
20. Heck, my years have run so long, man, that they all run together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what, let me pull up my Tourney X director's account.
There you go. You're going to find out real quick. And this is when it was established. Yeah. Well, and why he's doing that. I mean, obviously you can see that you can set up a group, you can start a group, you can start a tournament series, or just start a grassroots club very easily by getting in touch with the individuals in the industry that can kind of help teach you along the way, kind of show you some of the things and some of the attributes of getting involved into the organization. So, there's always opportunities to create more clubs and more grassroots in the areas that you're in. And not everybody wants to travel states or the country. They want to stay more local, just like the Southeast Georgia gang right here. They want to stay down in that kind of like area, but they have a very large area of Georgia too. So, I mean, 3 hours is kind of maybe the max that they want to drive. Maybe 3.5 would be pushing it. But, anything in that 2.5 hour range is a nice sweet spot for a lot of local anglers just wanting to get together and have a little competition. So Daniel kind of found a niche in the industry that is truly grassroots. It's the basis of getting everybody started. And if those that want to continue on into the next phases or the next steps or the next levels in the industry, there are ways to do that. But starting out at your grassroots. So tell me a little bit about how many like new anglers do you kind of have on a regular basis, or do you have like a lot of really good solid core individuals that are always there?
Well, with going back to your answer earlier, Randy, we established in 2021, March of 2021. So
gotcha. As your first live tournament.
As the first live tournament.
Nice. Good.
So we've kind of seen we have seen a kind of decline in the grassroots type series, and I've got something to announce in the back of the show.
So pay attention.
So
those of you that are on, stay on until later.
Yeah. So we've got something coming up in the end of the show to kind of put out to everybody. So, but yeah, we've kind of seen a decline in live tournaments.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think that's just because there's so many out there now within each state, and then you got your state level stuff as far as bass passers, Hobies, and people are just traveling, fishing these bigger tournaments because that's, a lot of people want to
take a shot at it.
Take a shot at it and get into the fishing industry. And if you win a Hobie BOS or
it's a good castle. You're right.
Yeah. And then you start getting big sponsorships towards you and things like that. So I totally understand where other anglers, but you also have that group of anglers that aren't quite ready to take that leap,
mm-hmm.
and kind of want to stay small and just have the friendship and the 20 guys fishing on this body of water and kind of win $150 pot, things like that. Just something.
So do you see in that type of group right there, they're kind of like your diehard, like keeping that community tight together a lot. Like they just want to get out there with the 20 other people and just have a good day out on the water.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you also have a lot of anglers that are trying to go up that next step, try that and hit that next level, try to get those sponsorships and make something in this crazy industry. And he's not saying don't do it. He's saying do it. Like if you have that drive, you have that motivation, go and do it. But while you're still here, come down and enjoy some of the events that you have going on. So when you have individuals at your events, what's your average running now what's your average per event?
This past year, I held a what we call the Georgia Tour Kayak Series, which was held on bigger bodies of water.
Okay.
Lakes, Sinclair, Clarks Hill, Lake Tobosaki. We're fishing a championship in October at Lake Blackshear and Cordele.
Okay.
So roughly, it kind of started off kind of slow. The biggest event that I had was on Clarks Hill because there's just so much, you can pull from the South Carolina side and the Georgia side.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm looking at in 2025 is kind of where can I pull anglers together from both sides, because with us bordering South Carolina, you kind of have that pack because if you have a South Carolina fishing license, you can fish. If you have a Georgia fishing license, you can fish.
Right.
So, so I'm looking at maybe hosting some more big lake stuff in 2025 with the Georgia Tour Kayak Series. But it's just something that I started this past year in 2024. So it was kind of getting my feet wet into that, you're looking at a bigger area now. Instead of everybody launching with one ramp, you've got people
Multiple
launching
ramps,
all over multiple ramps. And then you got to wait for everybody to drive around the lake to get to the award show. And so that's
always the fun part.
Yeah. So I'm looking to build it more. And hopefully in 2025, we'll get everything kind of put together, especially with the Bassmasters. The Bassmasters have their state stuff going on. And so I'm going to kind of talk with Steve Owens and kind of say, hey, can we piggyback together? That way, people can double dip, anglers can double dip. So
well, and at the same time, Bassmasters is looking for organizations to team up with. They're looking for groups that are got established numbers and kind of can get individuals to the events also. And so it's a scratch my back, I scratch yours type of a thing. You're working together and you're having a Bassmaster event, but also could be having a regular club event, which is a different pot, a totally different opportunity there. So you have a lot of these bigger organizations, and are you starting to see this now where a lot of bigger organizations are starting to look at the grassroots clubs to really be alongside?
Right. And I hadn't even thought about I talked with Steve over some messaging and everything with this, and kind of getting off the topic a little bit, but is all the grassroots clubs sending their top 6 anglers to like a state championship or top 10 out of each grassroots club, and then kind of fishing. If they didn't want to fish the Georgia Bass Nation Kayak Series with bass, is allow us to kind of piggyback off of that and kind of
get a draw there. No, and there's so many ways in the industry to kind of take your steps and go through it. So you have opportunities that are starting to unfold. Have a lot of bigger organizations are starting to come back down towards the lower rankings of the grassroots and getting more of those clubs kind of like involved in the Bassmasters and the memberships and everything else. And that's awesome. But at the same time, you have a lot of anglers, like you have a lot of anglers that would prefer to almost keep it kind of like your own club sometimes. Like you have your own club events and things, and having that big draw on your calendar does help. Everybody likes to hold up a really cool blue and silver trophy. We all think that that's awesome. And there's an opportunity to do that, but really it's your state-run local clubs that are going to be the feeders for all that. And this is how you learn. This is how you grow as an individual and how you get there. And
going about this, Randy, is I'm sorry for the interruption, but I just had something popped in my brain. Is I'm trying to look at how to get younger anglers into the world of kayak fishing. That's my draw. Is how can I pick up, these kids that are fishing as a co-angler in a bass team in high school, they're like, well, I really, mom and dad are talking about, oh, we don't have the money to spend on a big bass boat. And so I'm trying to figure out how to kind of push the information out to these high schools or some type of organization to kind of say, hey, this is available too. So let's get there.
Yeah, let's take this opportunity, because nothing's better than, like, I spent the last couple of weeks getting my son in a kayak, my nephew in a kayak. I have another teammate, another person that I brought in, and he pretty much bought the kayak right off my truck, which was absolutely outstanding. Now I don't have a kayak, but I'm going to fix that. But, but it's all about getting those anglers involved. And, the younger generation is what's going to take over for everything else that we're doing. It's a little bit off topic, but like, for instance, my son taking a graphic arts course where I had to go pay school for. I had to go to school, but he gets to take it in high school and it gets a certification. I'm like, I would have loved to have that in high school. Now they have fishing teams in high school and stuff like that. And it's like, oh man, there's just so much opportunities that's kind of being dumped into the younger generation now. And there's so many opportunities for them where we didn't have those opportunities. We had to make our opportunity.
Yeah, we definitely, I grew up, I grew up fishing with a fishing rod in my hand practically, because my grandfather, he's always fished. My dad's fished. My uncles have fished. So it's just something I enjoy doing. It not only it releases stress from my day job, but also I get to push out information to folks that might not know the information. So, but yeah, we're trucking right along with SEGKBF, man. It's we host monthly online tournaments as well, and these guys that work a full-time job can't travel, and I just feel like there's some people don't like the monthly stuff, but
that's fine. Some people don't like to do it monthly, and some people just like to do it one day a week. I mean, I get it.
Yeah. And so this past year, I also started a Weekend Warriors event. It was a 2-day event, like on Saturday and Sunday, catch 5 fish on Saturday, 5 fish on Sunday. That was your total amount. So you had, if you wanted to place, you had to fish both days. So it's kind of throwing different options out for different people, because people say, okay, well, I can fish a 2-day event or I can fish a month-long event. And so it's
and you're creating opportunities for your anglers to do more in the industry than just doing like a 1 month, 1 day meetup at one location. You're giving them an opportunity to continue fish throughout the month, or come and do a 2-day or do something like that. And you're giving them opportunities. And that's the best part about it, is that you're giving them chances to pretty much put themselves out there. Because once you do that, you go on a show and you talk about your day on the water and you talk about your placement, you're kind of putting yourself out there now. And if you're putting yourself out there on a regular basis and you're winning tournaments, you're going to get seen a lot, especially if you're on the same show over and over and over again.
Right.
And so it's an opportunity for them. So real quick, we're going to do a commercial break, and then I'm going to bring you right back and we're going to talk a little bit more about your things you got going on.
Okay.
I was initially introduced to cross kicks by doing a Google search looking for the perfect shoe that would allow me to unload my kayak from the ramp without changing shoes, getting in the boat, fishing all day, and being able to come back, get in the truck, and go home.
The big thing for me that made me wear cross kicks over other shoes was the versatility. I can go to the boat ramp, and then when I'm done at the boat ramp, I can go meet my wife and kids for a nice dinner and wear the same shoes and have nice looking comfortable shoes on.
I ordered cross kicks because of the backing strap, the drainage. Visually, I thought this has got to work better. Tried the shoe. Within the first week, felt it was phenomenal. It works for me. It allows me to rinse my feet off in the water, get back in the vehicle, continue on my day, and never have to change shoes throughout the day.
It keeps me comfortable all day long. It is a huge factor on the water, comfort, comfort, comfort. And especially my feet being comfortable, protected, and knowing that when I step off my kayak, I'm gonna have good solid foot traction. That's a great feeling to have.
By the time I put my kayak in the water and get out and load my equipment up, my shoes are already dry. And I wouldn't change that about cross kicks for anything.
All right, listeners, it's time to level up your footwear game with cross kicks. Whether you're hitting the trails, crushing your workout, or just enjoying a day out, cross kicks have you covered with their versatile, durable, and stylish shoes. Imagine stepping into a pair of shoes designed ultimately for comfort and rugged performance, just like we do in fishing. Cross kicks innovative design combines breathability with a cushion to fit, making them the perfect for every adventure and everyday use. And let's not forget that the style cross kicks offers a wide range of sleek, modern designs that look great both on and off the water. Use code NEW20 now and get 20% off of your next order. So elevate your shoe game with cross kicks, where durability meets style. So head on over to Cross Kicks right now and get your shoes today. Let's get Daniel back here. Daniel, are you back?
I am back.
Do you own a pair of Cross Kicks?
I don't, sir.
We need to fix that right away. We're no more using Crocs or anything else. We need to fix that right away and get Cross Kicks on those digits right there.
I can't use my bare foot no more.
No, man, come on. You know what happens in bare feet. You step on something bad and you're done. You're done for like a month.
Oh yeah. Especially down here where all the glass bottles and everything are in the water.
Oh, dang it. I didn't
Yeah.
want to hear that. That stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, make
Yeah.
sure you guys go out and say your Cross Kicks hybrid footwear today over at crosskicks.com. And that is Cross Kicks with a KIX. Make sure you get that right because you don't want to go somewhere else. That'd make it really hard. All right. So, I just want to give a couple shout outs. We have Nicholas Beltran down in South Florida. Hey, Nick, how you doing? And we also have Randy, hey, what's going on? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. And then also we're here with Daniel from the Southeast Georgia Kayak Bass Fishing, talking a little bit about his club and the grassroots efforts he has going on there. So when you're doing your planning, are you planning on the most possible anglers? Or are you just kind of catering your events to maybe like doing a certain number of anglers?
Well, I try to, as a tournament director, you always want the numbers there.
Of course.
That's just because when you start breaking down money pots and doing your spreadsheets and things like that, you're like, okay, I need 5 more people to sign up to get make this worthwhile.
Right.
But no, I have fished events. I have held events with 5 people. I've held them with 50 people. It doesn't matter to me as long as everybody enjoys their time.
Yeah.
And everybody has a great time fishing against, I guess I wouldn't say hammers, but we do have some hammers here in South Georgia. And throughout the whole state we do. But it's just I'd rather hold 5 events throughout the year, Randy, and have a good number of people than holding 20 events throughout
and having a low number of people.
And having a low number. That's the question that you were asking. So
yeah. Well, and that's kind of like, when you're starting in this field and you're wanting to think about, okay, hey, it's all about making sure I get anglers there. And yes, it is. It really is. But at the same time, you don't want to look past those 5 guys that are probably going to be your 5 guys that are going to be your diehards from beginning to end. They're going to stay there with you forever. So, they'll travel the entire state with you, to do the different areas. So you want to kind of cater as you grow, you cater to the numbers and you get there. And like he said earlier, there are tons of other places that are limited to how many anglers you can take there. So even though he would love to have 100 anglers on a body of water, he can't have some of them somewhere in these locations. So,
right.
And that's the same throughout the entire country. So if you're getting into that, make sure you always try to make sure you cater to your diehards that are always going to be there. So it's like down in Florida, we always had like a good 30 anglers that were always the 30 anglers that were at the events. And so you wanted to make sure we put them on bodies of water that one can hold 30 anglers or more, because you're going to get more they're going to say, hey, come fish this, come fish that. And that's what he's going off of, word of mouth, getting that information out there, getting out there. So as an organization, is everything that you do under the Southeast Georgia Kayak Bass Fishing flag?
It is. It's totally under that. I don't brand out or anything like that. It's under SEGKBF. You can find it on my website under that. You can find, YouTube.
You mean that thing right there?
Yep, that thing right there.
That thing right there. Tell us a little bit about your website real quick. That way, if anybody wanted to meet up with you on an event that you have coming up, just tell us a little bit. We'll kind of breeze through it.
So this is just the homepage. It kind of tells you, our mission up top. Just kind of tells you the mission we have, what we're all about. And so we cater to everybody. It doesn't, you've got to cater to everybody in order to be a true to form organization.
Right.
And that's just our homepage. It tells you, subscribe to the podcast. It gives our latest blog post down at the bottom.
Yeah.
So we kind of blog about everything that we do, tournament wise to expo wise to people we meet, to people who we interview, products that we discover, or anything like that.
You got a really good low $20 a year per year
membership. Yeah. So talking about that, Randy, is the $20 membership fee is in order to be a member. You don't have to be a member to fish the tournaments at all. But if you want to, if we're holding the Angler of the Year race in that tournament,
right,
then you have to be a member in order to get your points for the Angler of the Year.
Gotcha.
So
a $20 fee is very low to be part of Angler of the Year. Anybody, I don't care what anybody says about that. That's pretty cheap.
And that just helps cover, prizes and plaques for that.
Gotcha.
So
I'm going over to your tournament side. So you have your tournament page here. It tells you everything that you can that you're linked up with, whether it's your Weekend Warrior series, your Kayak Nationwide series, Kayak Tour series that you just got done wrapping up pretty much in August.
Yeah.
And then everything's kind of working on.
Randy, I'm still seeing the home screen.
Oh, are you? I'm so sorry. I hit the wrong button. Let's see if I can get that. Did it come up?
Hit it again.
Hold on. It's not going to come up. Give me a second. Okay. Because you know what? It's being funky. Here we go. Now it can.
There you go.
There we go. Sorry about that, everybody.
So this page right here will have, coming in 2025, this will be where all the tournaments are listed of what series we're running. And they'll link back to the Tourney X page. So they'll backlink to the. So if you hit that Nationwide Kayak series right there, that link right there, Randy, kind of.
It does. It goes right over. I would bring it up, but for some reason it doesn't want to play fair today. So it does bring it up to the Tourney X page that is for the club.
So we got everything linked back to the Tourney X website to make it easy and simple.
Very nice.
So yeah, that's so there'll be more stuff to look for in 25, as we said earlier in the show.
There's some things that are down here in the works. Cool.
Yeah. So we're looking at some stuff. So yeah, if they just want to, they can contact me directly from there. They can hit the contact link. It put in their message what they're looking for, or if they have any questions, it'll come directly to my email, and I will respond back within a 24-hour period. So.
Yeah, he's actually pretty quick about answering questions when it comes to the website or anything like that. So if anybody wants to go to it, that is SEGKBF. It takes me a minute to get used to saying. It's like it just
SEGKBF.
Yeah, SEGKBF.com. And you can go and find out all of his information on his website for his upcoming. So we got a little bit of off track a little bit, but you know what? We're both hosts, so it's okay. We like to talk. Hey, why not? Tell us a little bit about kind of what you got planned for the rest of this year. And we're not going to go into 2025 yet. What you have planned for the rest of this year, because I know that you don't have your tournament series going on, but you're doing monthlies probably.
Yes. We have the Weekend Warrior series still running for the till the end of the year, till December. We're actually going to fish through December.
Okay.
On that, the Georgia Tour Kayak Series, the championship, everybody's who qualified throughout the year fishing them other events, will have a championship on October 26th.
That's a great day, by the way. That's an amazing day. Best day in the world.
Must be your birthday.
See, you're too quick, man. I don't think you're too quick about that. Come on. No, that's a good day. That's a good day right there.
I thought you might have been saying it was I thought you might have been saying it was your anniversary or something.
I don't even remember when that is. I know it's been 18 years though. Let's put it that way. But yeah, so you still have your series going on. So you have a couple series going on. You have until October to finish out one series. You have your monthlies going on for the end of the year. So you still have a lot going on that's an offer for the club and for the anglers that are in the Southeast Georgia area. Right. What else do you have going on? I mean, I know I'm purposely baiting him in one direction, so we're going to get there. So what else do you have going on? I mean, you have your podcast, you have your show that you're doing right now. We call these podcasts, but they're actually shows. You have your show that you're doing, May Contain Fishing, that is now part of the Paddle and Fin Network, and putting out great content constantly on a weekly basis. He did switch over to the Wednesday day. So tell us a little bit of kind of like what you have going with that.
The podcast that said the main contain the show. We've got we release shows every Wednesday. Two live shows and 2 pre-recorded shows per month. I've got some guests lined up for. I actually got a fish biologist scheduled for later this month.
Cool.
And we're going to talk about why it's important to catch small fish and eat them, to manage your pond.
That's yummy.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of controversy about catch and release, folks. Yeah. But if you catch small fish, keep them, please. But yeah, I've got him back on the cast and on the show, and we're gonna sit down with Shan O'Gorman is his name. So we got, golly, I'm trying to look at my calendar over here.
It's okay.
Yeah, the 2 pre-recorded shows I've got one this week actually. I hadn't even sat down and thought about anything to talk about, So
well, the one thing about this industry is, you know what? We just start talking about fishing. We can just talk about fishing.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I could probably think of something to talk about tomorrow and record it. Even if it's just me standing in the garage BSing about crap, but but no, it's going pretty well for me, Randy. And like, I just kind of want to give Paddle and Fin a shout out and thanking them for the opportunity to come with y'all and join y'all and kind of just getting in front of the world. Deal
with us is what he's trying to say. Thank you for giving me a headache. That's what he's saying. Thank you. Thank you very much.
No, it's really kind of got me thinking and rolling on some other ideas.
Yeah.
These shows can really take time and take energy, but we've got some other things. I do some tackle talk stuff, but we're going to try to change that up because I really don't want to just sit and talk about tackle. I want to kind of do a product review / tackle stuff all in one show, so you can kind of break it up. So I've got that on the works. So we just finalized. I think we finalized our name of the little show today.
So that's fun. That's exciting. I'm not gonna make you tell us what it is because that would have been too awesome. And then that would have gave me creative freedom to watch out. So
yeah. So, but yeah, that's where we stand at as far as the rest of this year, and I like to kind of say I hit 1,000 YouTube subscribers.
Nice.
Right? So that's kind of, I wasn't expecting that. That was my goal for the end of the year.
Yeah.
But I kind of reached that pretty quick, and so it's there's a lot of content that we're going to be pushing out on YouTube, on the Paddle and Fin Network, stuff like that. So
yeah, so that as you guys are becoming more familiar with the Paddle and Fin Network and also with the SEGKBF, I haven't quite figured out how to do it all in one breath yet. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to get there, man. I'll get the cadence down in a second. But as you start to get to know Daniel and everybody else that's kind of coming alongside, the Paddle and Fin Network is going to be there to help him with all of his show ideas and different things. So we're excited about that. It is going to be exciting to, add another element to the network, but obviously there's going to be some build-up phase and some things that he's going to do to kind of iron out that show before he puts it out on the network. So we're, just like him, subscribe him, get on the pages and understand where he's at. So that way you can start to get a feel for how the shows are going to unfold, how it's going to be, and just become a subscriber and you'll be notified of everything that happens with us. So you definitely want to do that on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever he's got with the Southeast Georgia KBF down there. You want to make sure you have him subscribed and get that bell notification going. So, all right. So now we're getting ready to roll into 2025. And this is the time when I know we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to say we're getting there yet. I mean, come on, man. It's almost the middle of September already. And as organizations like yourself are getting ready to work on calendars, are you Are you a club that likes to kind of stick with like a couple main lakes that are always your staples? Like you always go to those?
I like to venture out a little bit, but there are certain lakes that you want to fish during a certain part of the time of the year down here.
Of course, yeah.
Everybody likes to fish the spawn, pre-spawn, spawn, and even fishing the post-spawn.
Yeah.
But then you have them great, you got them bodies of water that fish better in the fall time. Excuse me.
You're okay.
And so I kind of look to see which bodies of water fish well during certain times of the year, and try to schedule tournaments around. So schedule the tournaments around that time of year where the anglers can have success.
Yeah.
And have a good, I don't want to go to a tournament and only one guy catches fish. That's hard on anglers. Anglers going, this place sucks. That place is brutal.
Yeah, except for the one person that fishes it their entire life.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I kind of, as a tournament director, you have to kind of sit down and say, okay, big lakes in Georgia versus boat traffic.
Right.
You kind of sway away from that because you don't want nobody getting run over by a boat or getting washed ashore by a boat or anything to get flipped. So I kind of look to see, okay, on the bigger bodies of water, kind of fish them either earlier in the year or later in the year, kind of breaking it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, Georgia's kind of particular, and especially in your area, you kind of have the benefit of getting that North Florida fishing a little bit. So you get the benefit of that North Florida weather that is not quite the frost line, but it does get cold.
Yeah.
It gets cold.
Yeah.
I know, I've been there.
So, usually our cold weather don't come into about end of January, February,
Right.
March. You could have some howling days of 30, 40 mile an hour winds down here in March, but it's, but us fishing during, I think last Christmas, it was almost 80 degrees. So,
Yeah.
so we have the luxury down here in Southeast Georgia to have a full 12 months to work with.
Yeah. You're kind of more like that Florida where you do get a good 12 months of decent weather.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. They're very fortunate where their club is located, where you've got that club located, that they can reap the benefits of having a 12-month schedule, kind of like Florida does. All right. So when you're looking at your calendar and you like, okay, I know that I had 50 plus anglers at this one event. Do you go back to that lake the next year, or do you do it the following year?
Golly, Randy, that's a good question. That's never crossed my mind. You have 50 to 60 anglers at one event on that lake.
Yeah.
You kind of have to, as a tournament director, look to see where them people come from, because you have that luxury in Tourney X because it gives a state where they're from.
Yeah.
It doesn't really give a city, but it gives a state. So let's take Clarks Hill, for example, born in South Carolina and Georgia. Well, if I have 30 from Georgia and 30 from South Carolina, I'm probably going back to that lake.
Right. Yeah.
Now, if we go on down, if we go more inland to Sinclair, then you're pulling, that's the middle of the state. So you're kind of pulling from Atlanta, Columbus, Macon, down south, and then from Augusta way. So, you kind of have to look at, okay, if I get a good number in the middle of the state, I need to look at to lakes around the middle of the state, like Sinclair, Oconee, Lake Tobesaki, and Macon, maybe Lake Juliet outside of Macon.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's how I kind of, as a tournament director, kind of look at, okay, let me break this whole state down and see where I can get the most drawn people to.
Yeah.
So
now, as a tournament director, I'm going to ask you a very hard-hitting question here. As a tournament director, what is the most difficult thing for you to work on, achieve, try to get from? What's the hardest thing out of your perspective that is the hardest thing to do as a tournament director?
Making everybody happy.
Good luck with that.
Nah, that was just pull out the cracky and butt answer there, but it's golly, you're not going to make everybody happy. You're not going to make every angler in your group happy or whoever fishes your tournaments. You just have to make it understandable and say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we want to achieve. And this is our end goal. And kind of have to recap all that at the end of the season and say, okay, the turnout wasn't good here, but the turnout was good, excellent here, or good here. So we're not going to fish that lake.
Yeah.
We might revisit that on the back end of the next year. So it's just trying to get people to understand as tournament directors, and you've been around a lot of tournament directors. You were one yourself. Is just trying to focus on everybody in the group of how to successfully operate the group to 100%.
Right. Yeah. And that has always been one of the most challenging things. Is you're right. You're not going to make everybody happy, but anglers will still come if it's a well thought out, well organized, and a decent day out on the water. Like they'll even though they may think it's the worst location to go to, they'll still go to it and they'll have a good day. Like they'll have a good day because of the organization, the time that's put into the time and effort that's put into getting them all there, and then creating a good atmosphere for all the anglers to have a good time, whether they're fishing or not. And
right.
They catch them or they don't.
And let me say this, and I'm not going to go into this very deep because I don't want to cause a rigmarole on the internet. But if you got one bad apple in the bunch, it's like your granddaddy said, you put that one bad apple in the bucket, it's going to cause all the apples to go bad.
Yeah.
So you try to address that person one-on-one, and don't do it behind text or phone calls. Meet up somewhere and hash it out, saying, okay, what do you think is the problem? Or, hey, as a tournament director, I think this is the problem with you, and kind of sit down with that person one-on-one.
Yeah, it's always whether you start at the small like 5 anglers and you work up to a 50 or 100 anglers, it's always going to happen. There's going to be a bad apple in there, and you guys, you can work through it. You really can work through it.
Yeah.
It's really comes down to communication. Communication is key, whether it's good communication or bad communication. Communication is key, and you want to make sure you're constantly getting that stuff out to them, and that's what's going to create a well thought out, organized, and a successful event. Is just getting everybody out on that same page. And you're right, man. It's the hardest thing, is getting everybody to agree. Okay, yeah, Lake Sinclair at this time may not be the best time to go to Lake Sinclair, but you know what? We're going to go there because we're going to go for a challenge. Yeah. We're going to make it hard on everybody for a reason, because obviously money and stuff does lead anglers to events, and you do need to make things a little difficult from time to time, and you need to throw in some wrenches, and that happens. But you just want to make sure you always have everybody on that same page, and always doing what you're doing, and basically you're creating the people that are going to back you up if something fails.
Yeah.
And that's the key. They're here to back you up. So they're like, hey, no, Daniel is our tournament director. He's the head of the organization, and we back him up on this. And so, yeah, you're going to make some bad decisions from time to time, and it happens.
Just like our championship, I wasn't thinking Labor Day weekend. And I only had like 3 or 4 people out of the realm that kind of qualified for the championship. People had other things. And so I reached out with the people that's, as a tournament director, you reach out and say, hey, for the 4 guys that signed up, hey, let's, I didn't think about Labor Day weekend. I really want the championship round to have more people in it. So do y'all care if we switch dates? They said, no, man, we totally understand. We want everybody to fish that qualified for it.
Right.
So,
well, and that goes back with the communication. Communication is key, everybody. Better than a text message and better than an email. Getting them and talking to them is always better. All right. So we are getting ready to wind down. I'm going to do one more commercial with one of my favorite products, and that's the phone tether from, oh my gosh, I just went blank. Why did I go blank? Oh, Rogue Fishing Company. There we go. The fishing tether from Rogue Fishing Company. And then we're going to come back, and Daniel's going to have an announcement here in a minute. I've got a great story about that product right there. And this was the past weekend on Labor Day weekend when we were in Lake Norman. All right. We're up there. We're having a blast throughout the whole weekend, seeing family, enjoying the time out on the water. My son walks out. We go and put our kayaks out at the lake. He drops his kayak in, gets in, fishing around all day, looking at his phone, using the phone tether. He's like, okay, now I understand the importance of it, Dad. Thank you very much. You know, because before all you would hear is dropping on a kayak like crazy, and he's like, nope, now I understand why you have it. So he gets done on the water, running around. He's like done before me. He goes and gets out of the water, and as I pull up, I watched him drop his phone down into the water, and that sucker shoot back up, and he's like, now I know why you have this. And I said, yes, you do. That's exactly it. So no more losing $6,000 pieces of equipment anymore.
That's right.
Yeah. Go get that phone tether and hook that phone up there so you don't lose any more of these price full. I say not priceless, price full pieces of equipment that we have attached to us every day. So, all right. So you got some things coming down with the SEGKBF. I'm getting better. All right. SEGKBF. So tell us a little bit of kind of what you got going on. And if you've been paying attention to his announcements, he said he was going to do this. So yeah. I'm not forcing him to do anything.
So first of all, Randy, I want to say everybody pay attention to the website, SEGKBF.com. In the couple coming months, there's going to be something released on it that will help everyone. So we are in the works of getting that finalized. My wonderful wife, Christina, is my website designer / marketing director /
awesome wife and support, help meet everything you need in your life.
That's right. But secondly is the 2025 season of what we've got with the SEGKBF coming up is we're going to be hosting several different style tournaments. We're going to be hosting live tournaments of the Georgia Tour Kayak Series again. We are going to be doing our Kayak Nationwide Series again. That's a monthly online. So if you're anywhere, California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, wherever, you can fish these monthlies. And we're going to be throwing in a three-day event.
Wow.
On the Weekend Warriors, and it's only going to be a 5-fish limit
for 3 days. 5 fish.
5 fish for 3 days.
Woo!
So, so you can fish Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all 3 days, or you can just fish Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday. So it's a 3-day event. Going to be 5 fish limit on a 3-day event. So.
I'm debating. That's obviously going to be on a holiday weekend or something, right?
No, that's going to be once a month, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, so it's going to be a once a month throughout the entire year type of program.
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
So that's gonna throw another monthly out there for folks to fish, and with that, we're gonna have a point series with that as well. So if you want to get into any of the point series stuff, yeah, you just have to pay the $20 membership fee.
So it's like a trail series with an angler of the year type of thing.
Yeah.
You're looking at top performing anglers going off to a championship type of at the end. Very cool, very neat. And it's a 3-day 5-fish limit. That's insane.
Yep. So, but
you're either making it really easy for the judges, or
no. I just, I was running that series. If y'all heard early in the cast, I was running that series this year, but we had a 5-fish limit per day, and I think it would really set up really well on a 3-day with a 5-fish limit. On a 3-day. So if you had to work Friday night or something, you'd go Friday morning or things like that. Yeah.
Now, when you say, okay, I meant to ask this earlier. When you say the Weekend Warrior, is that where everybody goes and meets up?
No, that's a Weekend Warrior series is just an online series.
So anybody can fish that.
Anybody can fish that.
Anywhere in the United States.
Anywhere in the continental United States.
Anybody actually caught on to that? And I don't even think I caught on to that. Okay, so hold on. So so that series is a monthly, but it's a 3-day once a month.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's starting to catch on in my brain. Now I'm getting it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have your monthly series, then you have your Weekend Warrior series. It's also a monthly, but it can be either a 2 or 3-day.
Right.
And then that's its own category, its own angler of the year type of thing, kind of own trail series besides your other stuff you have going on. Now it makes a ton of sense, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, you're gonna have everybody come there for 3 days. I'm like, it's got to be a long weekend. Like,
no.
Okay. All right.
Not in person, online.
All right, everybody. So if you're in Florida and you know me too well, get in on a Weekend Warrior. They might like you. They might hate you. I don't know.
So, and the last stuff that we're going to run is we're going to run a Georgia public fishing area monthly.
Okay. So explain a little bit how that's going to work.
So if you're in the state of, we have a total of 9 public fishing areas throughout the whole state, from Rome down to South Georgia over to Silver Lake, which is the furthest you can get before you get into Florida and Alabama.
Gotcha.
Off of Lake Seminole. So it'll be month long. It's just going to be a tournament series held month long, but it's a 5-fish limit, and you've got to fish in a public fishing area, reservoir, waterway.
Okay.
So
is that one going to be just the Georgia area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's just for the Georgia anglers as a state, because
is that going to be run kind of like your same series? You're going to have your own winners and your own. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
nice.
But yeah,
that's creating more work for yourself. I love it.
I'm diving a little deeper this year, Randy.
You're begging for punishment is what you're doing. I got you. I see what you're doing.
No, I'm gonna take my college gamer in here that's in this other room over here. He's gonna learn how to judge fish.
And that's awesome. And you know what? Like, that's great news. I mean, and really thank you for clarifying that, because I think I should have asked exactly how that format kind of unfolded, because I was still thinking that Weekend Warrior was just like a weekend, everybody got together and they went fishing type of location, not in Georgia, not just nationwide. That's a whole different thing. Like, how many anglers out? I'm going to ask another question about that. How many anglers outside of the state of Georgia are actually joining you guys on those tournaments?
We've only had a couple. I've got some in North Carolina. I've got some in Alabama, Mississippi. So it's kind of stuck to the southeast part of the region, but I kind of want it to branch out towards, I like to see Florida come online, Texas come online. I even like to see some of them guys in California, because I want to see some of them Delta fish.
Yeah, right.
I want to see some of them Delta fish on the board. Even the smallmouth guys, there's some guys up north that catch big smallmouth, and I think they could actually benefit from a Weekend Warrior series like that, and put a little bit of money in their pocket.
That's pretty cool. Now that I know about it, I mean, we will be creating commercial about it. Watch out, it's coming. It's going to come. It's going to happen. You're probably going to get a short out of just this show alone, and we'll make it happen for you, because I think that's an opportunity that I think a lot of anglers are looking to get into something like this, but they don't have the time to go to an event. But they can fish. They can go and be on their waters as long as it's a waterway that's legal. Now, do they have to confirm what type of waterways they're going to? Do you
any public waterway is clear? You know, I kind of took the rules from KBF because they why try to make your own? Why try to make your own rules when you already got rules that you can just paste and copy, right?
Right.
So it has to be a public waterway where the public has access to it, and so So all my rules, all my regulations, all my waivers are on my website.
Cool.
So,
well, awesome. I mean, no, it's great, man. Thank you for clarifying that, because I mean that opens a world of opportunity for anglers to be involved, and whether they're able to fish during that time frame or not, they get the opportunity to at least see that there's ways to get involved without having to do a full-fledged monthly tournament, trying to catch all those fish in that time frame, because that does wreak havoc on your soul.
Oh yeah,
I know, because I did it for a while, and I'm like, oh, but you have the opportunities now. So go over to the SEGKBF.com, pay attention to what they have going on there, like and subscribe to his pages also, and get to know more of the information that's going to start pumping out of there, because they're going to start getting those things on calendars and schedules so that you can be ready. Because don't forget, he can have a club that's run 12 months out of the year. It's not limited for 3 or 4 months, 3 to 5 months. It is an entire year club. So you have opportunities, the year longs, fishing in the locations, if you can fish them. So you have those chances. And if you're traveling and you decide to be a snowbird and you come down to those areas, now you can fish a tournament, because guess what? There's an opportunity. So thank you, man. That's great. Thanks for creating opportunity for anglers just to be a part of.
Oh, no problem. Like I always said, it's about getting people into the kayak world, learning about it, getting fishing at it.
Right.
And because let me tell you, you can go to any state here right now and say, where's the nearest kayak club? They're going to point you to it.
Yeah.
So, so there's a lot of opportunities for folks throughout the whole United States to be able to fish tournaments, compete at their leisure for little or nothing.
So tell everybody where they can find all of you, your information, all of your social media platforms, where you're at, and how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, man. First of all, you can reach me through SEGKBF.com. Just hit the contact tab, shoot me an email. I will respond within about 24 hours. You can find me on Facebook. I have my personal Facebook, Daniel Woodcock. I also have a Facebook page and a group under Southeast Georgia Kayak Bass Fishing. Instagram, same thing, Southeast Georgia Kayak Bass Fishing, and my YouTube channel, Southeast Georgia Kayak Bass Fishing. I really don't say this one, but I do have a TikTok, but I don't.
Okay. Well, and on top of that, you can go to It May Contain Fishing podcast. That's on the Paddle and Fin Network. All of his stuff that he's going to be doing in the future with the club is also going to be launched through here in the future. So you're going to see a lot more of Daniel coming up in the future, I hope.
Oh, Lord, man. Don't say that.
Well, you keep on creating more opportunities for you to work. I mean, I'm telling you, man.
Well, I have one in that over there that keeps pushing me.
I love it. I love it.
So.
Well, Daniel, thank you very much for coming on. And again, everybody go to the SEGKBF.com and like them, and just pay attention to what's going on. Do they have a way that they can subscribe to your page?
To my website?
Yeah.
You can subscribe. When we push out blog posts, you get a copy of the blog post. Any kind of information we do a newsletters or anything like that, you'll get them right to your email.
Perfect. All right. Well, that's how you learn a little bit more about those grassroots organizations that are out there kind of hiding in the wings about your area locations and the things they have going on. Trust me, I didn't know anything about the Weekend Warrior thing, and now I know about it. So I'm going to tell people who want to get involved to get signed up to do that, if just for an opportunity of going out and fishing. I mean, you're going to go out and do it anyway. Try a little bit, learn some more about this fishing industry, and learn about the ebbs and flows of fishing from a kayak tournament style.
For sure. It's fun.
It's fun.
It's really changed me as a fisherman. I'll tell you that.
Yes, it does. It does change you as a fisherman. You do learn a lot, and you do get better. You do have a heart attack. It's the way the way it works, and you do win and you do lose. So
that's right.
That's the one thing I always tell my son. It's like, oh, you're always going out fishing. I don't say I always win. At least I'm going out fishing. Sometimes I'm just going out and getting a line wet because no fish like me in North Carolina yet. I'm still trying to figure that one out. All right. So everybody, thank you for joining us for the final cast. And thank you, Daniel, for joining us again and showcasing his club on the Grassroots. This is going to be a segment that's going to kind of roll out. We're going to be working our way throughout the entire country, learning more and more about these grassroots clubs and what they have to offer for our anglers and different anglers outside of their area zone, like with the Weekend Warrior Project. I think that's pretty awesome. So I already got ideas about that one. So watch out. You need any logos or anything, you holler at me. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. And we look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks where I did have somebody. Who was that? I can't remember right now. I know it's a product, though. So that's important. So it's going to be a product, somebody we haven't seen too much of in the industry, but they have a very good life safety and life-saving product that goes right on your kayak. So sit back and join us in 2 weeks when we have them on. Have a wonderful weekend. Daniel, thank you very much.
Thank you, Randy.
Have a great weekend, everybody. And you know what? Wear those PFTs. Enjoy yourselves on the water and have a good time. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.